What is going on? Sports card industry, sports cards fans out there, fans of sports card radio. Obviously, an extremely special edition of the Sports Card Show program, the number one longest running, most recognized, most downloaded, most respected sports card podcast in the universe. We are obviously at a very spectacular location, and we are joined by none other than Ryan at Sports Card News on Twitter. On today's show, as you know, or many of you may or may not know, because they do not like for you to know what's going on in the quote industry. The quote industry summit happened over the last couple days, and my guess is most of you viewing and watching and listening and consuming today's podcast had no idea that it was going on, and that is because the sports card industry does not want you or anyone watching actually knowing what's going on in this industry. And quite frankly, that is what's held this industry back for many, many years. Luckily, I think we're on the verge of change. We'll talk about that on today's program. Also on today's show, we attended a sports card trading show in San Marcos, quote, San Diego, California. That is where we are at the current time. I think there's a condo for sale down the street for $17 million. So you better believe we're doing pretty good here over at Sports Card Radio. So we're going to give you some tips on how to make some money in this business. We'll give you some tips on what the industry summit was all about and what they said and what they didn't said, and how you can read between the lines there as well. Ryan, what else are we going to talk about on today's show?
I think we could briefly touch on Alt and the website / I think soon to be app card selling marketplace that we've been using more and more in the last few weeks. Not an endorsement of them, but just kind of explaining probably what it is. A lot of you may not even know, and how we've been using the website over the last few weeks and how we might use it into the future. But I think Industry Summit, Card Show, Alt, and hopefully you guys get a glimpse inside how we live in over here at Sports Card Radio. So far cries from the halls over in the Westgate Casino in Las Vegas, where the Industry Summit was being held. And sure enough, we did attempt to sign up and go to the Industry Summit. And Colin, I know you put in the order several weeks ago, and then I got an email a few days after saying that they were, quote, sold out and our money was refunded. But I know 99% of people out there in the industry, when somebody from one of these companies, Beckett, Upper Deck, Topps, Panini, GTS, whoever tells you something, you believe it. You take it to the bank. We have a history with the Industry Summit. First of all, the Industry Summit is a very old event. It used to be in Hawaii. They called it the Hawaii Trade Conference. If you're a collector out there and you fondle your cards and you clutch this card, you have no idea probably what the Industry Summit is, the Hawaii Trade Conference, any of that. If you're a breaker, if you're a shop owner, if you're connected on any way to the dealer side, you've probably at least heard of it, if not have attended maybe one or two. Anyways, this was a floundering event in the early to mid 2010, 2013 range, call it, until Sports Card Radio showed up. And the year after we first attended, the next year they broke record attendance. Why? Because we were actively promoting and communicating what was going on at the event, primarily on social media at the time. So what happened? People saw that there was this summit that most people have never heard of. And the following year, the Industry Summit got record attendance. Well, apparently, they didn't like that. Because after reading some tweets, again, the industry, you got to fall in line. It's a good old boy network. If you ever step out of line, say the wrong thing, especially on social media platforms, you can get shunned from this industry. And that's what happened to Sports Card Radio. Next year, we try to sign up. This has got to be, when do you think this was? 2014, 2015?
Somewhere in
there,
yeah.
A long freaking time ago, guys. We got banned, quote banned or whatever. Brian Gray also got banned that year, too. It's going back a long time ago. So he couldn't go. He even sued the Industry Summit over this. There's a lawsuit. You could go back and do some reading and some deep dive. So Brian Gray got banned from the summit. So did Sports Card Radio. Brian Gray sued him. Anyway, this was many years ago. And after we had gotten banned, we didn't have any interest of going back, obviously. Now, here we are, fast forward many.
Hold on. Now, quite frankly, the Industry Summit kind of floundered after we stopped promoting it. So keep in mind, back in 2011, 2012, 2013, cards not nearly as hot. I think that goes without saying. Even somebody that has just gotten back into this industry, watching this podcast, only maybe 12, 14 months into this business and this hobby, understands that the business of trading cards has absolutely blown up over the last, we'll call it 24 months or so. So certainly during the 2011s to 2014 timeframe, sports trading cards were not nearly as hot as they are today. And we set record attendance for an event that was around during the golden ages of the hobby. As you said, the conference was in Hawaii, the golden age to own a hobby shop and those types of things as well. We blew that up because nobody was promoting it on social media. Nobody was talking about the event. Nobody was talking about what went on at the event actively. We started doing that. We were the first podcast to show up and talk about the event. We were the first people to show up and post pictures and write articles about the event. A year or two later, he got in a, quote, exclusive media partner, so we put money in this guy's pocket in the terms of more sponsorship, more attendance, and then after they banned us, the event essentially went downhill, quite frankly. And he had to sell it, quote, sell it to Beckett, which I'm sure he got just a massive price tag. He really was just acqui-hired into Beckett, and I think Kevin Isaacson now does other things over at Beckett. But the Industry Summit went to went from Hawaii to the Orleans to like a one ballroom off strip nasty kind of hotel environment, not even a casino hotel, I think, at the time. And so the event actually went downhill considerably. It lost major sponsorships from Cardboard Connection and other websites as well, as they started to shun the Sports Card Radio program from attending. Now, why do you think, Ryan, that they are continuing that ban? Because like you said, we did sign up for the event. We paid. The credit card went through. As you can see, we got Louis Vuitton bags over here, Rolex watches, and the house down the street is selling for $17 million. So you better believe we had an extra $500 or $600 laying around ready to go to attend this event. You had comped rooms lined up and those types of things, and they decided to say that they were quote unquote full, which is a load of bullcrap, to be honest with you. And that is because you could still, as of the day before the event, register. And I had 3 people DM me saying that they had just registered and they couldn't understand why I was not able to attend the event. Ryan, do you want to explain maybe possibly why the Industry Summit did not want the Sports Card Radio program to show up and actively promote their event, which we have helped them set record attendance and gain sponsorship to? Why do you think that the industry does not want us to continue that type of activity?
Clearly, the Industry Summit goals, and whoever's running it now, their goal is to not make this a big event. Because I can unequivocally guarantee you, if I was there, next year's Industry Summit would have broke all attendance records. Because I would have hyped the crap out of it. It sounded like it was a snooze fest. I mean, if something actually had happened there and some news had been broken, we would have already jumped in and started talking about it.
You would have heard about it as well.
But it turns out everybody went there, and because the quote-unquote Fanatics deal isn't done yet, they can't talk about it. So you're at this industry conference, Industry Summit, where all this stuff's supposed to happen, but you can't talk about it, and you can't put anything on social media. And it's an absolute snooze fest. Having said that, if I had went, I would have hyped it a lot more. I would have found out some of the conversations happening all in the background that nobody wants to talk about. We'll talk about today on this program, though. And the following year, I can unequivocally say they would have broken attendance records. But that's clearly not their goal. The goal of somebody like Beckett, the goal of somebody like these companies like Blowout, old-time sports card shops like Mike Fruitman over there in Colorado, is to keep the good old boy network going. Because that's how you get the homie hookups from these companies like Panini and Topps, and you get grandfathered into these allocation deals. You don't want more people into the club. You don't want exposure onto the sports card industry, because look at what has happened over the last couple of years when this industry has gotten blown up by youngsters coming in and quote-unquote investors spending their riches made elsewhere on cards. You have seen companies like PSA get sold. Joe Orlando gets the boot. You have seen Fanatics come in and completely obliterate and wipe out Topps. Topps was going to go public. Michael Eisner was going to have his second shot in the sun as a major owner of this growing sports card company. And a week before, Fanatics wipes Topps out of the MLB category, MLB baseball license that they had owned for over 70 years. Not only did they do that, they give Panini, who has been in the American sports card market since 2010, and who some of these newbies who have come in, this is all they know is silver prisms. This is what everybody has always wanted. Newsflash, Panini's only been around for about a little over 10 years. Well, Fanatics wiped them out as well. That's because the attention and the money that has flowed into the sports card world has totally obliterated the good old boy network. And that is a threat to them. That's why they don't want people like us to show up. That's why they don't want this thing to get big and to have a large-scale event, to publicize this stuff on social media. So we're not welcome there, which is totally fine, because as you can see, we've been having a pretty good week as it is.
Right. I think people misunderstand that we want to be there. We're jealous. We want a full case allocation of anything from Topps, a full case allocation from anything from Panini. Guys, I got allocated a $45,000 Rolex watch last week. That's the kind of allocation that I want. We're sitting at probably it's not 17 million. I would say this is probably in the $4 to $5 million range in terms of property. Who out there that is getting a full allocation of National Treasures, full allocation of Topps, Allen and Ginter? Are they running podcasts? Are they living the life? Do they got Louis Vuitton purses that they bought? Do they got Rolex watches on? No, they absolutely do not. So no, we're absolutely not jealous of anybody in this industry. What we are here to do, and our sole mission of this podcast, is to help you break into this industry, break through the good old boy network that exists not only at the industry summit, but virtually around the entire hobby. There's a lot of new blood that, in my opinion, has the infrastructure, the intelligence, the charisma to take this hobby to the next level. We've been waiting for this moment for over a decade for the hobby to move to the next level, and we believe that we're probably getting closer and closer to that moment. And the reason why we think that way is at this week's industry summit, the same smoke was blown up shop owners' behinds the entire time. There was a quote going around, forgive me, I don't know the guy's name, but there's a guy that's now in charge
Josh
of
Luber.
Josh Luber, who apparently started or was one of the founders of StockX, appears like he's going to be in charge of the new Fanatics sports trading card companies. And he was waltzed up in front of the quote industry, which majority at this conference tends to be group breakers and shop owners. And he went up there and basically patted them on the behind with the exact same message we were hearing, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. He said something like, You guys are the lifeblood of the hobby. You guys are the backbone of the hobby. You guys are the touch point of the hobby. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody out there has been hearing that from industry executives, from Topps, Panini, StockX, Fanatics, whoever it is. They go up and tell you the same thing year after year. But here's the thing, guys. Who gets all the allocation of the products? Is it the shop owner, or is it a group breaker who's been around for 3 or 4 years max? Yes, there's a handful of group breakers that have been around for 10 years. A Mojo Break, a Leighton Sports Cards, those types of guys. Sure, they've been in this game a long time, but there are shop owners that have shops way longer than that, who have had relationships with Topps way longer than that, and they don't get nearly the allocation that those guys get. And now we're talking about there's other breakers out there that have only existed for a handful of years, and they're getting allocations that exceed hobby shops. Hobby shops, Panini, Topps, they don't care about you. The distributors do not care about you. Do you really think Fanatics is going to spend all this money on licenses and now all of a sudden going to care about you any more than the previous regime has? And if you say yes, you're an absolute moron and you probably should be looking for a new job. You're absolutely insane. There's no chance, zero chance, that Fanatics helps the shop owner out any more than Topps and Panini has. And in fact, there's a large incentive for them not to help you out. Because if you look, what Topps and Panini have done over the last decade is has constantly said, we love shop owners. We're here to help you. But yet we give all our products, the vast majority of them, especially the ones that sell for very large amounts of money, we give the majority of that to a group breaker. And if we don't give it to a group breaker, we'll sell it on our own website, or we'll do a Fanatics exclusive, or a Target exclusive, or a Walmart exclusive, or a StockX exclusive. They'll do all these other exclusives with all these other channels other than the hobby shop. The hobby shop gets one case max of any type of product. And sure, that might be enough to keep your lights on, especially when things are as hot as they are today in the hobby. But 3, 4, 5 years down the line, does anybody really legitimately believe that Fanatics will do more for a hobby shop than Topps and Panini certainly haven't over the last 10 years? Guys, they're blowing smoke up your you-know-what. And if you don't smell it, you're going to be out of business and you're going to be broke in a few years. And look, you can take advice from anybody in this hobby. Take advice from anybody in this hobby. Take advice from the guy that's sitting in his mom's basement, or sitting in the corner of his $80,000 house, or his $80,000 double wide. Or take advice from the guy that was a bartender 24 months ago and now all of a sudden is a YouTube influencer. Take advice from whoever the hell you want, guys. I got an $18,000 watch on. We're in probably a $4 or $5 million condo that's overlooking the beach in San Diego. This isn't fucking Idaho. We got Louis Vuitton bags over here. We got other things in this place that we can't necessarily share on camera that are also, quite valuable as well. Ryan, who would you take advice from? Somebody that shows you a level of success nobody else is achieving in this hobby? Or would you listen to the hobby shop owner that's just been scraping by, that has a day job, that has to, scrape things by just to keep the lights on? And certainly if their Panini or Topps or both of allocation went dry over the next 4 to 5 years, they'd probably be out of this hobby. Who would you listen to? Somebody in a penthouse overlooking the beach with a $20,000 watch on and a $45,000 watch on the way? Or would you listen to a Mike Fruitman type who can't even, shave his beard properly, let alone make enough money so he doesn't need a day job?
That's the disappointing thing about the Industry Summit, is that it should ideally reflect a lot of point of views and have a lot of voices there. But again, it's the good old boy network. They literally traipse out the same people, or if it's not the same people, it's the same thing. If it's not the constant contact guy telling you how to market your business, they traipse out the sports card guy investor who, again, bless the guy, he's done a great job and so forth. But again, a mid-40s guy who has made his money independently outside of sports cards and is now blowing it hands over foot into sports cards, telling you, a shop owner, how to run social media is an absolute joke, is absolutely laughable. So the themes have been the same. Whether you went to the 2010 Industry Summit or you went to the 2021 Industry Summit, you don't get different voices. They push those out. Again, we got banned a year after they had record attendance because the event got so much play on social media. Remember, rewind the clock a little bit to 2012, 2013. One of the most popular sports card websites on the internet was Sports Card Radio. Thousands of visitors a day. The website made tens of thousands of dollars per month. Again, in court documents, Mike Smith of Cardboard Connection said he was making $250,000 a year. He learned how to put content on his website from Sports Card Radio. So if Smith was making $250,000 a year, you can bet the guy sitting here on camera with an absolute priceless view behind us in the most expensive state in the entire country made a little bit of money too back in those days. So all you content creators out there, you're actually about 10 years too late. But you don't get that information at the Industry Summit. You don't get varying points of view, whether you like it or not, whether you want to take it or not. And again, I don't want to be on a panel at the summit. I just wanted to go, have a good time, see some people that don't like us, get some of the conversation that's happening in the background. Because, Colin, this is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing from a few different camps. Let's go over I want to get your thoughts on these. What I'm hearing is a couple different things. Let's start with the first one that I'm hearing from both collectors, dealers. Hey, this is a long way out. First of all, it hasn't been announced. They couldn't even talk about it at the stupid summit because it, quote, hasn't been announced. How stupid is that? This is a long ways away. And some people are saying, hey, what if we just take a step back, wait to see what happens? You know, I've some of these group breakers have spent hundreds, if not millions of dollars scaling their business. Shop owners have opened shops to get exclusive relationships with Panini, Topps, and Upper Deck. Distributors have focused more on sports cards than they have in the last 20 years. What do you think about the wait and see approach? Hey, let's wait and see in 3 to 4 to 5 years, whenever this fully takes fruition, and to see, hey, what happens if you were a business owner, if you were one of these breakers who spent all this money, if you opened a shop and developed a direct relationship, and the key to your business is an open product. Okay? That's group breakers, that's blowout cards, that's DA, that's distributors to a certain extent, and that are some hobby shops that are relying on this. What would you, the wait and see approach, how do you feel about that?
So here would be my analogy to answer that question. So I got 2 young kids. One is 4, one is 2. College is a long ways out for them, right? Am I going to wait to save for college, even though it's 14 years away for my oldest son? Would that make me a great father? How about retirement? Retirement, probably for me and my wife, is probably same time frame, 20, 25 years away. So that's a long ways out, right? It's much longer than 4 to 5 years. But that's my life. That's my livelihood. That's my children's livelihood. It would be absolutely irresponsible as a father to say, because college is 18 years away, because retirement is 25, 30 years away, I don't need to worry about it now. And this is kind of some of the advice, literally, that's the advice you're getting at the Industry Summit right now. Is that, guys, it's 4 or 5 years away, don't worry. How do they know? The deal's quote unquote not finalized yet. The leagues can do however they want. The leagues can do whatever they want. They can conceivably start this deal at any time. So we don't need to get into it, but Topps and theoretically Panini as well could run out of money to make trading cards. Because guys, they borrow lots of money to make these trading cards. and they do it all on terms, and that could run dry conceivably before the 3 to 5 years run out. We also have questions on what are, like I bought a 582 pre-order today. It was a Topps Allen and Ginter Xbox. Last week it was a Throwback Finest. The Throwback Finest box was $200, I think. Last year they were $50. The Allen and Ginter Xbox, I think, was darn near $200 shipped. Last year I think those were like $125. So they're going to raise the price of everything. And I'm not saying that's a bad strategy. And I'm not saying that's not what I would do if I was Topps and Panini. But anybody that thinks, oh, we're surfing right now, and we're just going to surf this wave for the next 4 years is an absolute moron. Everything's going to change over the next 4 years. Even if Panini and Topps are still allowed to make their cards, they're going to be in money grab mode. The quality of the product, in my opinion, will likely decline. The content in the product, again, likely to decline. Why are you going to really push the envelope when you know you're not going to make product very much? Same with the employees and the customer service level at these card companies. Why would you go work for Topps or want to work for Topps when in 2 or 3 years the company's essentially out of business? Like, why would you want to go work for them? Okay? So there's a lot of variables that are going to come into play. We're literally just a month or two into this, and I think we're seeing evidence of it, especially with these 582 pre-orders, where they're jacking up the prices on these things. Okay, and I'm still buying them. I mean, guys. Does $100 and $200 look like a big deal to us over here? Absolutely freaking not. So I'm not complaining about paying more, but at some point I'll start to evaluate, is it even worth it to buy these products? And I think consumers are going to go through the same thing, because the average consumer is not recording a podcast for free in a $5 million condo with watches and purses and bags and all kinds of things around here. No, they're absolutely not doing that. Okay, and so they're probably a lot more price sensitive than someone like me when it comes to this product. I buy this stuff and just throw it on the shelf. So me personally, if I was at the industry summit, I'd be saying, Amber alert, guys, you need to start preparing today. That's what you need to start doing. And if you're not, you're irresponsible, you're an idiot, you're not a businessman, and you're going to get run over, okay? Because in 3 to 4 or 5 years, there's going to be the kids that are just getting into the business today. They're going to be caught up to speed. They're going to get up to speed way faster than a lot of you guys. Any group breaker out there, we would trash on the group breakers on this program, and we would constantly say, they need to do this, they need to do this, they need to do this. Now, I would say they've scaled up their business nicely, and they're starting to do the things that we suggested that they do a decade ago. Have a quality streaming program, have quality control over your customers, sell the product through your own website. These guys were like trying to sell on eBay and try to get, do all this stuff. No, just direct them right to your website, email list, those types of things. So they finally turned the corner. But unfortunately at these industry summits, again, it's not there. The industry does not exist to educate you, okay? The industry wants to pick who makes money. They want it to be a good old boy network. U-Breaker, U-Blowout, UDA Cardware, Pittsburgh Sports Wholesale. You get the cards. Everybody else gets crumbs. And we'll come up here on the stage and tell you how much we care about you and how much you're the backbone of the hobby, but you'll get some crumbs. If you're looking around the room at the industry summit and thinking all these guys are my friends, all these guys are here for me, we're all on the same team, you're a sucker. Let's go play poker. Let's go play golf for money. Let's go gamble one-on-one, because you are going to lose all your money to a shark. Because the sharks are staying in beach houses. The sharks wear nice watches. The sharks are the ones that are planning not 4 or 5 years down the road, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And quite frankly, there's not a lot of sharks in this hobby. And I'm sure many of you watching this content have never actually seen something like this, because most people in this hobby are not very successful, period.
Okay, so some very troublesome things in your mind if dealers, shop owners breakers decide to the wait and see approach? Well, let's give Josh a chance. Let's give Fanatics a chance. Here's the other thing that I've been hearing is that, well, don't worry, Ryan. This is what's going to happen, Colin, is Fanatics is going to buy all these licenses. Then they're going to buy Topps, Panini, and or Upper Deck, or all of them, or one of them. And essentially, it'll be status quo because they'll just have all the same employees. I'll still be able to call DJ and Tracy and my guys and get my boxes and get my homie hookup and my little butt slap. And Tom Fish will get his 1/3 allocation of every online exclusive. And Adam Martin over at DA will get his little cut of it. And the guy over at Steel City will get his little cut. And all the distributors will get their little cut. And all these breakers who have broken in the last 4 or 5 years and moved a lot of product will get their little cut. What do you say to that, to the people who are like, Fanatics, they're an $18 billion company. Topps is a less than $1 billion company, but Fanatics doesn't know how to make Fanatics won't know how to make sports cards. They're going to need Topps and need Panini for the infrastructure. What do you say to that, to the people who are like, oh, let's just wait. They're going to have to buy Panini or Topps and nothing will actually really change?
Well, I could certainly see them buying Panini or Topps because the only thing of value at those companies are the brands of cards. Let's make this very clear to everybody watching this because I don't think everybody knows this. The trading card companies do not make the cards. They do not make the cards. Somebody else makes the cards, actually packs them up, and actually ships them, okay? So they are not manufacturers, okay? Similar to the way Apple is not a phone manufacturer, okay? They design the phones, and then they get someone in China to make the phones. Now, Apple has integrated it into their own stores, their own website, and I certainly see Fanatics going that route. Because if you look at a Nike, we were just at the Nike store today. I was very willing to go in there and spend $200 or $300 on a pair of shoes, but they don't have anything in the store. And it was an official Nike store, it wasn't an outlet or something like that. It's because they're funneling you all online. That is where the high margin business is in this game. So when you look at an Apple, you look at a Nike, you look at a Rolex, you look at these types of things, where are they starting to funnel you? It's all through their own channels. All through their channel, not through distributors, not through retailers, not through a network of retailers. Will you get thrown some bones? Absolutely. Top Series 1, which has a massive print run, certainly something like that. Series 2, Heritage, these types of products. Will you still see them at a Target and a Walmart? Doesn't matter who's making them. It could be Fanatics, Heritage. I don't really care what the products are. Are you going to see mass production products still at the masses, at the hobby shops, maybe even through distributors? Wouldn't doubt it. What you are going to see dry up are the days when a case or 2 or 10 show up at a door of a hobby shop owner or a group breaker where they paid $50 a box for something that is worth $350 a box. That is just absolutely ludicrous. That is what Nike used to do. That is what other companies used to do. They used to ship their Jordans to Foot Locker and have Foot Locker have all the traffic out the door and get all the upsales for socks and sneakers and all the other stuff that goes on with a pair of sneaker purchases. They are not going to allow you to do that at Fanatics anymore. Are they going to throw you the bone, a $50 mega box? Are they going to throw you a bone here and there? I think certainly for the mass market products. But I think the days are going to be limited very soon for the day when National Treasure shows up at your door at I don't know what the cost on that these days is. It used to be $500. Now it might be $1,500. And something like that is worth $10,000. Those days are going to go away. And if they don't, I'll be absolutely completely shocked. And you certainly could come back to this video and tell me how wrong I was. But a company like Fanatics is not in the business of just dumping money. You don't become a multi-billion-dollar company, a multi-billionaire, which the owners of Fanatics are, by doing this. Topps was going to go public at a $1.2 $2 billion valuation. And quite frankly, a third of that, and maybe even slightly more than a third of that, the value was actually the candy company. The card company was worth a couple $100 million. Now, if Topps had done the right thing and not dumped a bunch of money into the Mike Fruitman's pockets and other, hobby shops owners out there that still need a day job to keep the lights on, let's be real. If they had not done that, well, yeah, maybe they could have gone public at 2 or 3 billion, because they actually would have made a hell of a lot more money. And I think Fanatics, that's what attracted them to this business, is they saw all the money just being spewed out to people that add very, very, very little value to this hobby, okay? Because if these guys that were getting full allocations could show you nice suite and could give you a nice informative message and could maybe motivate you and inform you about the hobby, maybe they'd be adding some value. But all these guys do is a few balls and slap a few asses in Las Vegas, and they manage to be, again, one of the chosen ones. That's why when you're a, quote, chosen one, like a breaker, like a hobby shop owner, you don't hear a peep out of these guys. You don't hear an absolute peep about any of the problems in the hobby, any of the things that can be solved, because they can't. They cannot bite the hand that feeds them. But at some point over the next 4 or 5 years, that hand is going to stop feeding them. And it'll be really interesting to see what these clowns have to say then.
Leads me into my next point. You talked about Fanatics potentially streamlining the sports card industry, that you buy the box from Fanatics, maybe even grade the card, maybe even sell the card there. There's history with this guy, Josh Luber, who started StockX. Josh Luber, I don't think has any encouraging quotes about the mom and pop sneaker business. StockX doesn't support the mom and pop sneaker business. Fanatics doesn't support the mom and pop sports store. Google, mom and pop sports store in your town. Does that exist? Maybe if you're in Timbuktu, Ohio, but if you got a $18 million view behind you, I guarantee there's not a little mom and pop sports store up the street. That doesn't exist. And evidence of what you're talking about was in a CNBC. Again, maybe we're not pulling this stuff out of our butt, because there was a CNBC article about the, quote, deal that can't be talked about at the industry summit, that Fanatics acquired the MLB, NFL, Major League, and NBA license. All of them took them from Panini. Okay? Fanatics is going to be the exclusive there in a few short years. CNBC had an article that had a little nugget, and I doubt CNBC was just pulling this out of their butt, that the way Fanatics sees it is that you buy your box or card on the Fanatics website, and then you could potentially have that card graded by Fanatics or through a third party that they're affiliated with or bought or own, and then you can sell that card on a Fanatics marketplace. Again, maybe one they create, maybe one that they purchase, partner with, however, and that the ecosystem all kind of runs through Fanatics. Whereas today, if you buy a card, where do you buy that card? Maybe you buy it from Blowout, maybe you buy it from a breaker, maybe you buy it from Target, maybe you get it from a bot, maybe you go to a card show, maybe you, who knows? But new product, especially this stuff that Fanatics is going to make, is all potentially going to run through them, through their ecosystem, through their channels. That's the way they run their sports business. Fanatics doesn't, Google Fanatics sports wholesale account. Can I get 49ers jerseys wholesale? Can I get, those type of products wholesale? I think it's actually very, very difficult, if not near impossible. Probably with enough money, you probably maybe could, i.e. buy an NFL team. But this is the talk, is that Fanatics is going to run the sports card business the same way they've run all their other businesses. Streamline it so it all goes to them, so that you have to buy the card, you have to grade it through them, you have to sell it through them, and they get percentage and fees and reoccurring revenue and your data and your information, and can email you and blast you and pre-sell you stuff and sell it to you direct. You don't need to go to the gatekeepers over at Blowout, over at these distributors, over at these group breakers, these chosen ones, these chosen fews, who for the last 20 to 30 years have monopolized the sports card industry.
Well, and it makes a lot of sense. Think about Fanatics. They are in business and they have a huge catalog of jerseys, hats, t-shirts. Why would they want to funnel you over to Blowout Cards to buy on their website? Why would they want to funnel you out to a group breaker? Why would they want to funnel you out to a trading card shop? Because I think one of the things that they saw, I think they saw many things here, but I think some of the things that they saw was there was Fanatic exclusive Panini products that was launched on Fanatics. I think what Fanatics saw was, hey, this customer came to us and it was potentially a new customer or maybe a very active and invigorated customer, and they've been able to sell that customer other things. So a jersey for him, maybe a jersey for his kid, maybe something for the wife, maybe something as a gift, maybe something around Christmas time. They understand all this. You don't run an e-commerce business and don't understand where your customers are coming from and the lifetime value of that. And I think that's what Fanatics really saw, especially in the longer run, is that, look, we can put these products on our website, draw in a lot of customers that will not only buy this trading card product, but then buy all our other products that has turned our company into, I think, $18 billion valuation on it. So I think that was really the driving motivation behind this. And on top of that, they can add value by, like you said, vertically integrated the entire hobby. The entire hobby is completely scatterbrained. You have group breaking over here, you have grading over here, you have making the cards over here, you have buying the cards here, here, and here, and even more importantly, you have selling and trading of the cards happening on a lot of different sites. Well, if one company could integrate all of that, where they make the card, they authenticate the card, they grade the card, they can potentially customize the card, then they get you to sell the card. I think even open the packs there online, then you can trade your card, and then finally at some point maybe you take delivery of that card. But after that entire step has happened, they take 5% here, 6% here, 10% here, 12% here, and then all of a sudden a single purchase turns into a far more profitable venture than what Topps and Panini have been able to execute over the last several years, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And Josh Luber's quote was, the shops, whatever it was, shops are the lifeblood of the industry, and so on and so forth. I feel like people are, knock Panini, Topps, and Upper Deck to a degree for not supporting the shops. I think they're going to look back in a few years and be like, wow, Topps and Panini actually, hooked it up for shops. I don't know, a lot of people know this, but so let's say you start a shop and you get a direct relationship with, let's talk about the Topps. When I went to the Topps conference, I think if you committed to it, you could get a case of every single Topps baseball product at wholesale cost. And let's be clear, every baseball product that has come out, what do you think in the last 2 or 3 years sells for what? At least double? Not big league, not this, the junk, but I'm talking about 90% of the stuff, what, sells for at least double?
At least double, and you're definitely not losing your money. Maybe after fees, it might not be quite that much.
But you're not losing any money.
You're not losing any
money. So
money.
basically, they're literally gifting every shop a case of product at basically, half what they could sell it for. That's the deal that you could get. I can almost assuredly tell you that that's not going to be a deal at Fanatics. Fanatics is not going to be, hey, open this shop or open this fake shop in the back of your warehouse where you just break cards or you just run an online business. There's a lot of fake shops out there. A lot of these group breakers who, quote, have a hobby shop that's fake. Just so they can get allocation, just so they can get a direct account from Panini at Topps, because that is valuable. I can guarantee you in a few years, that's not going to be a deal at Fanatics. Fanatics is not going to throw you a case of every single product they make so that you could go double your money in your stupid store. So I think people are going to look back in a few years and be like, wow, Panini and Topps actually did a lot. Fanatics probably came in and, like you said, saw the value in that. Saw that not really the value, saw that, you know, Panini and Topps were kind of giving away a lot of this business. Giving a lot of business to Blowout Cards and DA Card World and Tom Fish and making distributors rich. Rich! Making group breakers rich. Why didn't Topps and Panini hire their own breakers and break everything on their own site? Funnel all that through them. Maybe they would have had more money when MLB came calling and needed more money. Instead, it's all in the pocket of Fish, DA, Steel City, GTS, Southern Hobby, Group Breakers. Not a lot of that money flowed back into the companies. Fanatics saw that. Fanatics is going to change that. Fanatics is going to streamline it all. They're not going to give money to the blowouts and the DAs and the breakers. You guys who have leveraged your businesses essentially on a relationship with either a distributor or Panini and Topps are going to be screwed. Regardless if Fanatics buys those companies and hires DJ and hires Chris and hires those GTS guys, things are going to be run differently because you can't spend the money Fanatics did and keep giving you guys and making you guys rich. That doesn't make any sense. So the 2021 Industry Summit was an absolute disaster. They didn't want any information out there, which again is the history of the event, so I guess we shouldn't be surprised at that. They didn't want to talk about the landmark deal because it's quote-unquote not official. And they don't want to give you guys the truth. So it's a joke. It's a laughing stock. Brian Gregg did his speech today. Did you hear anything about that? No. Because he was buying top stock the day they lost the MLB license. So that shows you how much inside information he knows. These guys are lost. They got hit over the head by Michael Rubin. An $18 billion business came in and wiped out the entire sports card industry. And I think the industry's still reeling over it. They still don't want to talk about it even. Yep. So it's an absolute joke. We're sitting out here on Sports Card Radio. I'll guess this is at least, to you guys sitting out there in Timbuktu, Ohio, at least an $18 million view. Colin, let's talk about one of the reasons why we came down here. Really, it was to a lot of reasons. Actually,
can I give you 23 reasons why? Sorry. Continue, please.
20. Yeah, I mean, reason why, about the 8th or 9th reason why we came down here, about the 24th or 25th reason why we came down here was the San Diego card show. Actually, it wasn't in San Diego, it was in San Marcos, which is about...
Beautiful, San Marcos.
San Marcos, beautiful kind of place in between San Diego and Los Angeles. Nice homes, you know, kind of soccer momish, you know, retirement kind of, you know, no crime ever. You know, the worst thing that's ever happened is, you know, might lose a hubcap on your car, you know, that might make the newspaper. So really kind of safe, nice upscale town. UC San Marcos is there. So not a whole lot there except for probably the college and some retirement people. But we went down kind of sight unseen to this card show that I had heard about. Paid $300 for a table. And, you know, we get there and there's like a youth jiu-jitsu thing going on. It's a big, huge kind of, I don't know, it's like a rec thing. Very massive, though. Over probably 30,000 square feet. Very big. Very, very big. Like basketball courts, you know, that kind of big. Almost, you know, big like that. Part of it was the sports card show. Most of it was this loud jiu-jitsu tournament going on. Anyways, there ended up only being maybe like 40 tables at this thing. Maybe less in terms of total dealers. So we get in there. We did not bring a lot of inventory. We'll talk, I guess, in a second about alt and why I guess I just don't have a lot of inventory because I've been setting it all to alt. But I kept aside some sports card inventory. A lot of it was local 49er stuff and Giants stuff, so it didn't exactly play well to a Lakers-Dodgers crowd down here in Los Angeles. But we brought the stuff we had. We had some nice stuff that we'd shipped back from the PWCC vault after eBay kicked them and Brent to the curb and accused them of a crime on the way out the door. Listen back to a few episodes back if you want to hear about that story. So we come down here to this card show and set up, and within the first, 15, 20 minutes, gentlemen from Ultimate Pastime Sports Collectibles came up and dropped quite a bit, right? Quite a bit. Bought some key cards from us. I felt like we had about $1,000 in our pocket right away. Felt like when I walked in there, I was like, wow, if we could walk out of here with $1,000, I feel really good for the whole day. But within the first 20, 30 minutes, we had sold some of our stuff, gave him a really good deal, felt good about it ourselves. I bet he felt good that he got a great deal, and we were off and running. And, from there over the next couple hours, made some other sales. And Ultimate Pastimes Collectibles just kept coming back. And kept kind of, hey, what do you want to do on this card? Or what about the package of this card? Or these 4 or 5 cards? Or these 4 or 5 cards? And we kept kind of, selling a couple $100 more. And sure enough, I think it was you were like, when he comes back, this is about 2 hours into a 7-hour card show. It's starting to get a little hot in there from the jiu-jitsu tournament. No air conditioning. Not a whole lot of foot traffic for sports cards. It's a lot of just kind of looky-loos. Some sales were coming in, but again, it wasn't, massive dollar amount. And I think you were like, hey, why don't we just sell him everything? See if he wants everything, and we'll just take off. And I was like, wow, that's a great idea. So we kind of started kicking around over the next half hour. Well, how much for everything? What's the good stuff we have? What is that worth? And then what's kind of the rest of the stuff worth to us? And literally, I had brought all that stuff down there because it was extra stuff. It was junk that we had bought on ComC with money we had made, over 10 years of flipping cards. It was local 49ers and San Francisco Giants stuff that I really didn't pay a lot of money for. It was stuff that I didn't send to alt because I guess it just wasn't worth it. So it was really a lot of junk and about 15 to 20 nice cards from either PWCC or just stuff that I had saved. A Derek Jeter autograph. There was a Magic Johnson autograph. Marco Luciano PSA 10 Bowman Chrome card. A couple other nice cards. Anyway, so sure enough, he came back and we started talking about making a deal for the whole table. And, we kicked around a few numbers and we started, well, these are the ones that are worth something. You get this, and this. And we started talking about, he started talking about how much work it was going to be. And then I think in the back of our minds, we were like, damn, if he bought this whole thing, we could literally jet out right now, 4 to 5 hours early, go have lunch. We were headed down here to this $13 million view in San Diego. It was getting a little hot in that room. The Bang girl, and Bang is a product, so I'm not being offensive here. Bang is a energy drink. The Bang girl was presently not at the booth, so we weren't able to keep an eye on her. So we were kind of thinking about getting out of there, and we struck a deal for the entire table. And we walked out of there 4 hours early with both our display cases, several $1,000s in our pocket, no cards to our name except the last little 4 cards that I bought from somebody for $15 that I kept in, because it was just whatever. Wasn't a part of the deal. And we were able to go to Shake Shack and head down to San Diego many hours early. So just the time saved was worth a lot of money. The cards themselves were not worth a lot to us because I didn't bring anything good. And it ended up being an absolutely fantastic card show. For the sole fact that Ultimate Sports Collectibles, there's his name there. There's some notes for the show. But, came in and bought everything. And what do you think about that?
And so I want to make it clear, he was going to make very good money, very good margin on what we sold them. We did not. We were giving them a wholesale price. Okay, we could have sold a lot of those cards on eBay at card shows, on our own, onto COMC or Alt or any of those, and we could have made a lot more money. But part of this business, and as you can see here, we're exhibiting proof of this, is that you don't try to squeeze every nickel out of every situation. Okay, that should have been Topps and Panini's job. But when you're down the food chain a little bit, in my opinion, it's all about cash flow. You want that cash flowing in, and you want that product flowing out. Okay, you want that cash coming in to buy new product, and you want to just constantly be doing that. And you want that. It's far more important to have cash flow coming in and out of your business than to sit there on product and hold it. Like we get idiots on our Facebook page showing us a 2012, 13 case of Prism that I'm sure is worth a heck of a lot of money. Look, I'm not saying some of these cases that if you hold on to them are worth a heck of a lot of money. But you could have sold it and flipped that money 10, 15, 20, 30 times since then, and you probably could have been sitting in a beach house like we are. But instead, you're sitting in your 2-bedroom track house that's worth $85,000, and you're still driving the same Honda Civic with 118,000 miles on it because you're holding on to some pictures of men that has appreciated in value, but you haven't realized any of that appreciation. You haven't realized any of that value. My opinion, the trading card business is about buying and selling. And that's quite frankly what I think the group breakers have learned, and why they get the vast majority of the allocations is because they turn and burn this stuff about as fast as possible. And that aligns with the goals of the trading card manufacturers as well. They need to turn and burn this stuff super fast. So they need to turn this off onto group breakers who will turn and burn this stuff very, very quickly. And so the lesson of the trading card show is, number one, go to sell. And number two, when you have somebody come up to your table and is interested in buying, and if you can give them a good deal that works for them and it works for you, that's what everybody calls a win-win. And in this situation, it was a win-win. I'm sure if we had the ultimate pastime collectibles guy here on the channel, he would say, hey, these guys gave me an incredible deal. Sold me cards probably 40, 50, 60 off of eBay, to where all he would have to do is list them on eBay and get a profit. But he had a lot of work to do. He had a lot of cards. It's going to take him a long time to work through that inventory, but that's likely where he is at with his business. Whereas us, that inventory was excess. We'll talk about Alt here in a second, but that was essentially excess inventory that we had that we might have taken to a San Francisco show, might have taken to a Sacramento show and got retail. We've got a Las Vegas show coming up here in about a week, or excuse me, in a month. So stay tuned. We might do videos. We might do a podcast from Vegas. We might have 23 other things that we're trying to do when we're in Las Vegas. So we'll see what happens. But go to these shows looking to make a deal, or go to them, have an objective in mind. Our objective was come down here to San Diego. Number one, have a great time. Number one, stay here on the beach. Number two, do a little shopping for the kids and the wife. But number three, if we could absolutely blow through all that inventory, that's what we wanted to do. And we were able to accomplish that. Got anything else to add about the card show?
The only negative about selling all our card show inventory, and I'll talk about moving all our inventory of Alt, is I'm getting texts and emails from all these Bay Area card show guys be like, hey, this card show coming up, and I literally have no cards to sell. So that is, the bad thing is that at my house now, there's like a box of Topps Gold graded Michael Jordan cards, about 20 of them, that I just keep all the time when I buy them. So I literally have nothing. So, the upcoming shows in the Bay Area that I was going to go set up at, I may just be now a spectator and go and actually try to buy cards again. So, I guess that's the only if you want to see that as a negative, is that I literally don't have anything to sell when you basically sell it all. And a lot of that was Bay Area inventory, a lot of the Buster Posey jersey cards, and I had about 20 Trey Lance rookie cards, and so on and so forth. Cheap stuff that I either acquired on ComC or in little lots on eBay and stuff. So, those would have sold really well in the Bay Area. But again, you got to value your time, you got to value cash flow. And again, gave that guy a heck of a deal. I bet if we called that guy, next week or 2 months from now, was like, hey, remember us? We got another couple grand worth of stuff. You want to take a look at it? I bet he would. And I bet we could come to a deal. So sometimes, us who are not actually big card sellers, we've made our money in cards really through advertising and through content and through information many years ago. It's good to establish those type of relationship, guys who are willing to buy you out of a card show. It's good to, I think, know those guys and to give those guys good deals, especially on inventory, again, that was excess to us. Why was it excess to us? Let's jump into alt. Want to talk, this isn't an endorsement. They didn't pay us to talk about this website. And this isn't an advertisement. We could get on 2 weeks from now and trash talk them if they make a mistake, if they screw up, if any number of things happen. Just want to talk about how I've been using the site. We've been using the site. Been buying and selling graded cards specifically, almost exclusively online, primarily eBay since January. Buying sometimes hundreds, if not thousands of graded cards per week, and typically reselling them on eBay. Well, this new site, it's going to have an app soon. It's called Alt. I think the real website's called like onlyalt.com or something. They don't own alt.com or whatever. That'd be an expensive domain to buy. But so this website has come around. They only, on the marketplace, you can only buy and sell BGS, PSA, or BGS, PSA, or SGC graded cards. It works very much like ComC, if you know how that works. You send your cards to them. They take the images, they upload it onto the site. The thing about this is a brand new site. So literally you could either send them to the stuff, or what I've been doing is drop shipping them things because they have a Delaware address and you save on the sales tax. Again, process these things quickly. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. So been sending them basically our entire inventory of graded cards because unlike ComC, it doesn't take 4 to 5 to 20 years to upload your cards on this site. Literally, they get the package, and in 2 days, your cards are scanned and uploaded on the site, and you can sell them. Better yet, it's 1.5% selling fees. And I thought that was a joke. So if you sell something for $10, you get like $9.95 or something insane. Like you get like all your money essentially. And I was like, wait, there must be like a cash out thing, or when you click this button and all your money goes away or something. No, you can literally sell cards, get charged 1.5%, and then withdraw the money to your bank, and it's in your bank account the next day. Wow. Seems like a great thing, because even on eBay, you make sales on eBay all the time, but you're getting charged, lopped off 20% dang near each time, if not more, and you're packaging this stuff up, and you're holding, and you're fondling it, and what if the guy hits you back up and wants to return it, or your case was cracked, or this or that, or he wants feedback, or he wants to talk to you about something, or he wants a deal, or blah, blah, blah. Alt, again, it's kind of like ComC. Oh, and did I mention that if you send them PSA, BGS, or SGC cards, it's free to upload. It's free. It's free. So they don't charge you anything to take pictures and scan your cards and put it on their marketplace, and they only charge you 1.5% if you sell it. And then the money gets in your account the next day. So when I kind of was fiddling around this website, it only took me about a week or two. I was like, wow, got to be sending everything to this freaking website. Everything. Anything and everything. Because you could run things so thin. One, you're not getting charged tax if you drop ship things to them, so you're saving 8 to 10%, especially out here in California on that. Two, the fees, the seller, 1.5%. They're getting stuff on there so quickly. You buy this stuff, it gets sent to them, and within a week to 10 days, all that stuff is on the site. So you're able to do this stuff very quickly. List these cards, sell these cards. So you could sell these cards really thin at a thin margin. Not that I'm making a thin margin on the stuff I'm selling on there, but you could potentially. So I'm literally sending them everything, drop shipping them everything onto eBay. So that's why I don't have any inventory of cards anymore, because for a time I had 200 to 300, 400 slabs sitting at home. That stuff was listed on eBay, but I sent Alt the day before we left to San Diego about a 50-pound box of everything that we had listed on eBay. And everything that I've bought on eBay, probably about 200 to 300 graded cards since then, has all gone to Alt. So it's a very good website if you're into buying and selling graded stuff, like I am. If you don't like to clutch your cards, like I don't need to hold them, don't need to see them, don't want to even be around them. If you don't like to physically scan your cards, list your cards, ship your cards, pack your cards, ship your cards, perfect for that. If you're tired of paying 20% on eBay, and I've been able to move cards on Alt, again, because I aggressively price stuff, because I'm willing to give somebody a good deal. And I'm buying cheaper cards and stuff that moves. Another thing I like about Alt is you can make offers and then accept offers on cards at any moment. So somebody can make an offer on your card and you can accept that. That's exists to a degree on eBay, but it's not quite the same, because the offers don't always stay active for a long time. The offers don't flow in as often because eBay, it really isn't set up like that. And with Alt, it's a brand new site. There's only about 5,000 cards listed on the site. We're probably one of the largest sellers on the website. Probably actually when my 50-pound box gets processed and gets through, we'll probably have 5 to 10% of the inventory for sale on the entire site. And if I could keep sending them thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of cards, graded cards per day, I would. So it's a site that I would look into if you're looking to scale your business. And there's a referral code in the description of this video. Again, this is not an advertisement for them. I don't know anybody who works there aside the communication that I've had dealing with my account and so forth. And we could come back tomorrow or next week or next year and completely obliterate anyone that works at this company or the company itself. But as of today and as of the last few weeks, this is an absolutely gold mine of a website. I've loved using it, have made thousands of dollars in sales on there, and have hundreds of cards. Basically, anything and everything I buy, which has been graded, goes to them. So ComC is still great for the non-graded stuff, for that raw stuff that's hard to sell, that parallel stuff, that $2 to $10 card, still great for that. Sent them some cards recently, and it was supposed to all get uploaded in December. All those cards are already uploaded. So it seems like some of the backlog they have in terms of processing cards, and certainly in terms of shipping cards, because we get a shipment from them about 2 or 3 times a month, has sped up significantly, if not have starting to meet on-time times with those. Certainly with the processing time, and we got stuff processed that was 2 to 3 months early. So these are websites, if you're trying to scale your business, if you're not somebody who needs to clutch and hold your cards, that you need to be using. Like if we're trying to sit out here and continuously look at $18 million views, we can't be packing and shipping hundreds of graded cards a day. That doesn't make sense. Alt needs to be doing that for us. ComC needs to be doing that for us. The marketplace Fanatics sets up could potentially be doing that for us. Those are opportunities I see in the future growing. Hustlers, guys who flip single cards, guys who take advantage of these marketplaces that are popping up aren't going to feel the effects of the shop owners, the breakers, the distributors, Tom Fish, D.A. Carroll, Steel City, that have built their businesses on a relationship. And they're a part of the club. This new age group, these kids walking in with these Pelican cases, are hustlers. And it's not so much the relationship, unless it's with specific dealers and flipping cards. It's not butt slapping going on. You can't butt slap your way to a Patrick Mahomes silver PSA 10 rookie card. Nobody's just going to give that to you. You got to hustle for that. There are people in this industry that don't have to hustle for what they get. They're just grandfathered in. They're part of the club. That's what the industry summit was. It's Good Old Boy Network, part 30, 30-year reunion. We can't talk about the deal that just happened. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? It was $600 to go to the industry conference, and you saw that Josh Luber was going to be there, and he was going to be on a panel and answer questions. And then when you get there, they tell you, don't post anything on social media. And oh yeah, we can't talk about the deal that happened. And Panini isn't going to talk about losing its license. They're only going to shove UFC down your throat the whole time. And Topps isn't going to talk about losing its license. They're only going to talk about re-upping the UEFA soccer deal, because that's somehow now important and more valuable than a 70-year baseball license that they made its name on. We weren't invited to the industry summit. As you can see, we have 23 and 18 million reasons why behind us, why we could care less. Colin, do you have any other thoughts on the industry as a whole?
Well, so I think the popular opinion, especially over the last 12 to 24 months, is, people are looking for ways to make money in this hobby. And the strategy is buy and hold. Buy and hope that they throw a touchdown. Buy and hope he has a good playoff series. Buy and hope that he gets traded. Buy and hope these types of scenarios, okay? Nobody's talking about basically being like a wholesaler. That's how I view us with these trading cards, is we buy these cards, we mark them up a small amount, and we leave some meat on the bone to another guy that wants to flip it, or we leave like where a collector buys these cards and they feel like they got a good deal. They're trying to amass a larger set or something like that. We're not clutching this stuff like some of these hobby dealers out there, like some of these YouTube guys out there are trying to tell you to do. Oh, buy this quarterback and hold on to it. Or, oh, because basketball's not going on right now, go buy Kawhi Leonard's and Luka's because, when the season starts in October, they'll go back up. Or go buy this and go buy that. No. Understand what the market is. Understand what the price is. And when you find a good price, you buy it at that price. And then when you can get a good price for it, you sell it. And you sell it, you buy it, you sell it, and you get cash flow. And this is the type of place that you see people having large amounts of cash flow. So all I would say about the industry is, especially if you're new to this hobby, if you're fans of the show, you're already educated, you're already an aficionado of the hobby. But if you're new to the hobby, and a lot of you guys watching this have never seen something like this, you've never seen two guys in a multi-million-dollar condo talking about trading cards, talking about how to make money. It's always been the tech guy that's making money on a subscription service trying to tell you how to make money with trading cards. Or a guy that was working at a restaurant 12 months ago, now all of a sudden trying to tell you how to make money in trading cards. That'd be like going and getting stock advice. Instead of going to Warren Buffett, instead of going to Kevin O'Leary, you go to some guy that was working at Starbucks 12 months ago, but for some reason downloaded Robinhood and has watched 30 minutes of CNBC every night. That makes absolutely no sense. And unfortunately, a lot of you guys listening have been absolutely stone cold fooled by this. And the Industry Summit has been stone cold fooling people for nearly 2 decades that it's, quote, an industry summit. No. It exists primarily to tell which individuals in the room are going to make money, and then they pat everybody else on the ass so they feel very good about it. And that was echoed again this week, and we didn't see any commentary about it. In fact, I saw the opposite. Oh, the StockX guy got up there and said he was going to help out the hobby shop, and they were the backbone. Hello, he's been. That is what's been said at the Industry Summit for 2 decades. The hobby shop owner is the backbone. We're here for you. We're here to help you. Except we give all the product to breakers, blow out trading cards, and we sell them directly on our own site. That's it. So they're really there to help you? No, they're not. They're not there to help you. You need to help yourself. And if you look around a room of a bunch of trading card executives and people in this hobby, and you look around the room and you're impressed, you want to meet people, you want to slap ass, you are not going to have a view like this. You are not going to have money like we do. Period. End of story. We're not trying to flex. We're not trying to brag. We're not trying to put anybody down. Because, guys, the key thing that most people, I would say, the number one business mistake I see everybody make, and this is not just in trading cards, this is across all business, is people take business personally. They walk into a room and they don't want to offend somebody. They don't want to look over there and say, that guy's stupid, he has no idea what he's doing. It is not personal in business. If you walk into the industry summit and say, hey, this guy just got up on stage and said, I'm his friend. He's here for me. And then when you take a step back and say, well, what the hell did he actually do for me? Did he actually do anything for me? Did he put me up on a website? Did he get me in a mailer? Did he do anything for me? Absolutely not. And so we showed examples of this week when we went to a trading card show and we saw a local dealer come in. We actually gave him a good deal. We sold him Mike Trout cards that sell for $160, $175 all day long, instantly, for that price. And if you want to hold out and get 180, you can get 180. We sold them for what? 1.25. Okay? We've sold them cards that sell all day for 2.25 for 150. We sold him a whole table of cards that after he's done listing them and sending them and trading them and doing all this thing, this guy's going to double, triple his money probably. Okay? That is doing something in this hobby. That is someone that you might want to have a relationship with. A guy waltzing up in front of the industry summit and repeating the same line. It's almost like they gave him a script. It's like, hey, StockX guy, I think this is your first time here. Here's the script. And if you follow the script, everybody in the audience is going to nod their heads like zombies and say, oh, they're here for us. We're going to keep getting one case. I'm going to keep driving my Oldsmobile Cutlass that needs a new radiator and air conditioner and a new set of tires. And oh, yeah, thanks, buddy. You probably have a $25,000 watch on and you drive a Lamborghini, but thank you very much. The people in this industry that have actually looked at this from a critical lens, that's not taking it personally, believe us guys, we do not take it personally that the industry summit did not want us there. What did we do? We had comp suites booked. Better believe we had comp suites booked in Vegas, okay? The saddest people about us not going to Las Vegas is the MGM and the Caesars brands. Because they know when we come to town what kind of role we bring with us and how much money we spend with them and their properties. So they were a little upset. So what'd we do? Did we sit around and whine and cry about it? No. We got a multi-million-dollar penthouse on the beach in San Diego where we've been chilling for virtually a week. Not to mention, I went to a conference the other day, rubbed elbows with people that are working on a six-figure deal for me on the side. And there's 23 other reasons that we can talk about what we've done here in San Diego, but some things might be better off not said here on the program. Ryan, got anything else here on the program on the Sports Card Show?
Well, we got 23 reasons to cut this off now, and I hope you guys understand, the industry summit. Once again, didn't want to talk about the deal that just took place, didn't want voices to be heard, and you probably didn't hear so much as a peep out of that conference. Unfortunate, for the people who went there and maybe expected something more, but, if you want the truth, if you want conversation that is free of the butt slapping and the Good Old Boy Network that's been going on for many years, you can always tune into Sports Card Radio. We will give it to you. We'll tell you about the conversations going on in the background. We'll talk about all the things people don't want to talk about. We'll touch on people that are bad, shady, decrepit in this industry and call them out when other people will be scared to do so. And clearly, as you can see, years of butt slapping into this industry people have been doing. They can't show you a view like this. They can't show you a Louis Vuitton bag. They can't show you a website with 3,000 articles. They can't have the most talked about, most downloaded, most lawsuit threatened podcast on their resume. They haven't done it because it can't be done. There's nobody in this industry bringing you this. So until next time, Colin, 23andMe, signing off. SportsCardRadio.com. Peace.